Hello, this is Geometry, Notes 3-1, Parallel Lines and Transversals with Mrs. Mosslick. Let's start with parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines in the same plane that do not intersect. An example is like the picture I showed you on the right here. I would say that line L is parallel to line M. I know they are parallel because of the double arrow that's marked in the picture. So when you have parallel lines, our geometry symbol is a double arrow. Skew lines are lines that don't intersect, but they are not on the same plane. So an example here would be K and line L, or K and line M. They are in different planes and they will never intersect. It's like two airplanes that are in the air, but it looks like they're crossing from the ground, but they are not because they're on different heights. So that's what skew is. They will not intersect, lines that don't intersect, but they are not in the same plane. Parallel planes are planes that do not intersect, so like A and B. Now remember, when we are labeling a plane, you can use the plane symbol and then use a capital cursive letter. When you are labeling lines, you can use a lowercase letter. Okay, moving on to some questions. Example 1, identify each of the following using the box at the right. So all segments parallel to line segment BC. I am going to be identifying the original segment with red pen and then identifying the parallel line segments here with, let's say, blue. So it's nice to have different colors so that you can see objects clearly. So parallel would be line segment AD, line segment EF, and line segment HG. They are all not ever going to intersect line segment BC. Now, I am going to erase this picture so that we can then go on to our next problem. And so our next problem is find any segments that are skew to EH. So EH I'm going to label with red. So EH. Now, if it is skew, that means it is not parallel. So not parallel. So I am going to mark all of the non-skew segments first. What's left will be skew. So if a segment is skew, it cannot be parallel. So what is parallel? Parallel to EH is FG, DC, and AB. Also, if it's skew, it cannot intersect. So I am going to label all of the lines that intersect line segment EH. That means they would have to touch E or H. So EF, EA, HB, and HG. The remaining unmarked or uncolored line segments are those skew. So line segment AD, line segment DF, line segment BC, and line segment CG. It is not required to draw in with colors the not parallel segments and the not intersecting segments, but I would highly encourage you to do that. Otherwise, it is too easy to miss some segments. Okay, so now let's go on and look at a plane that's parallel to plane ABC. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark up plane ABC. So plane ABC is up here. So parallel would be this bottom. So think about like a Kleenex box. It's the top and the bottom of the Kleenex box. When we are labeling a plane, you can use the word plane, write it out, or just use the symbol for plane. And now use any three letters, any three of the 4 points that are shown. So in any order, I'm just going to use E, H, and G, but you can use any one of these four. So just use three of them when you are labeling a plane in any order. Now I am going to erase that and move on to 4. So go ahead and identify what would be the answer for part 4. Okay, for me to do that, I am going to highlight plane BCH. So plane BCH parallel would be the plane ADE or any of the three letters that are located on points on that plane. So any three of those letters, I'll just say plane ADF. Okay, you go ahead and do number 2. So go ahead and pause this video. When you are done with example 2, then unpause the video to check your answers. Once you are set, go ahead and then listen to my video again. Okay, so let's say that you have already done this, and so let's just check our answers. So all segments parallel to LQ, I'm going to label LQ with my red pen. Then I'm going to mark parallel with, let's say, blue. So parallel here and here. So it looks like there are two segments. We have NR or RN and JK or KJ. Skew means it cannot be parallel. We've already marked those. And it cannot intersect. So I'm going to mark those as well. Not intersect would be it can't touch L and Q. So I can't touch Q, it can't touch L. Therefore, the only segments that remain are the unmarked segments that would be JN or NJ and KR or RK. Now we are left with two more questions, a plane parallel to plane JKL. So JKL was this. Now that looks like it is touching all of the segments. So therefore, our answer would be none. There is none. And last one, a plane parallel to plane KLR. I'm going to erase what we have first. Here we go. And then I will highlight this new plane. And we have, oh, let's try to highlight it. It's easier to see the colors, I believe. So this is responding very slowly. So KLR is here. So a plane parallel would be on the other side there. So that would be plane JNQ, or use any three of those letters, plane JNQ in any order. Okay, now we are done with the first part of this lesson. Let's go ahead and do the back side. The back side, we are going to have to use different colors. So get out a red color, like a red pen, and get out a blue pen. If you don't have a blue pen, just use your pencil is fine. But I definitely want you to use a red pen for the back side. What we are going to be looking at are two lines that are intersected by a transversal. So the first thing we're going to do, and you can't see it right now because my Microsoft Word is not responding, but we will get to the back side. What you're going to do with your red pen is you are going to highlight line K and J with your red pen. So go ahead and highlight the back side with your red pen. So I've shown it already on the other problems. So I am going to use a red pen, highlight K and line J, and then lightly shade in between. Now I can't lightly shade with this pen marking, so what I will do instead is I will have to use a highlighter to do that. So, but most of you guys can just lightly shade, but I'm just going to use a highlighter in between. And then if you have a blue color, go ahead and use that. If not, just go ahead and use your pencil to highlight line L, which is the transversal. So here we go. And it's a little hard to see those letters, but they're okay. So then I'm going to use a blue color for the transversal, but you can just highlight it with a pencil if you want. So the transversal is L. The transversal is a name to describe the The line that intersects two other lines. Okay, so interior angles are everything in between the red lines. So it'll be 5, 6, 4, and 3. So the interior angles are angles 5, 6, 4, and 3 in any order. Exterior angles are exterior or outside of the parallel or the red lines. So that'll be angles 8, 7, 1, and 2. Okay, now the next ones, go ahead and make sure that you are coloring your next pictures. And now let's find more pairs. So alternate interior angles are going to be interior angles, and they cannot be adjacent, and they have to be on alternating sides of the transversal. So angle 5 is an interior angle, and my alternate interior angle pair to angle 5 is it cannot be next to it, it cannot be adjacent, so it can't be 6, and it has to be on the other side of the transversal, so it'll be 3. So angle 5 and angle 3 is an alternate interior angle pair. Another alternate interior angle pair would be angle 6, and again on the alternate side of the transversal, but it's not a adjacent. So angle 6 and angle 4 is another alternate interior angle pair. Alternate exterior angles, choose an exterior angle, and an alternate exterior angle pair, they have to be exterior angles. They have to be on alternating sides of the transversal, that L line, that blue line, and they cannot be adjacent. So angle 8 and angle 2 are an alternating exterior angle pair. Angle 7 and angle 1 is another pair. And again, you can name them like angle 1 and angle 7, doesn't matter the order here. Okay, two other pairs that you have to know about are consecutive interior angles. So consecutive interior, first of all, they are interior angles. And so let's just choose like 5. They cannot be adjacent, so they can't be next to each other, meaning they can't share that same vertex. And they are on the same side of the transversal. They're also called same side interior, but consecutive interior is the vocabulary we're going to use. So angle 5 and angle 4 is a consecutive interior angle pair. Angle 6 and angle 3 is another pair, consecutive interior angle pair. Last vocabulary you have to know for this section is called corresponding angles. One angle is interior, the other is exterior. They have to be on the same side of the transversal and they cannot be adjacent. So if I start with angle 8, I have to find another angle on the same side of the transversal. Because 8 is exterior, my other one has to be interior, but it cannot be adjacent. So it'll be angle 8 and angle 4 is a corresponding angle pair. Another angle pair would be 5 and 1. Angle 5 and angle 1 are on the same side of the transversal. One is interior, one is exterior, but they are not adjacent. They don't share the same vertex. I'm going to just change my color so it's a little easier to see. So my next shape I'll just use, how about a square? Yeah, that's fine. 7 and 3, angle 7 and angle 3 is another corresponding angle pair. And then 6 and 2. Angle 6 and angle 2, they're on the same side of the transversal. One is interior, one is exterior, but they are not adjacent. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. Go ahead and try some practice problems now and go back to these notes. If you have questions, feel free to ask your teacher or ask me if you guys have questions as well.